All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Brittany Baker-Schur. I'm the Association Executive here at the Reading-Berks Association of Realtors. And today we have Christina Cardone, who is an instructor, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about NAR real estate designations and certifications. So welcome, Christina. Thank you for joining me today. All right. So let's start with some general basics. What is a certification or designation?
Well, they are courses, and not just a course, but usually it's a classroom part to the requirements and involves some other conditions as well. And of course, these are affiliated with NAR. So one of the conditions is always that you have to be an NAR member. So you have to be a realtor and take this specialized education on various topics that add to our give us more skills and knowledge to serve our clients in specific areas and build our business. There are all the NAR designations and certifications are geared to us realtors, residential, commercial, whatever our specialty, building our business. So they are education to support us as we support our clients.
That's awesome. All right, so when it comes to getting them, you have to be a member of NAR, which means you can't just be a general licensee in Pennsylvania. You have to be a realtor, and
Absolutely.
That in and of itself comes with a lot of weight and responsibility, and also opens a lot of doors, I think, for this profession.
Yeah, it is about just like being a realtor and having the code of ethics. This is something above the minimum. These are things to add, to make you stand out. To go beyond the minimum requirements that we have.
I love that. All right. So what kind of doors does a designation or a certification open for a real estate practitioner?
Well, each of the NAR designation certifications, they don't come with just the education. All of them come with a suite of resources offered once you become a member, once you earn that designation. So tools that can help you stand out in your marketing, things you can add to your email signatures, your business cards, your websites, to use on social media. Everything from the pins you can wear to the logos you can use, and an awful lot of material, even in terms of just content that you can use to post, blog posts and anything else you can imagine.
So realtors are definitely competing, all the time. So it's a way to help stand out.
Absolutely. And one of the most valuable benefits that they come with is for each designation or certification, you get to join that networking group, that group of other realtors who have that designation or certification, and connect with them again in all kinds of ways, including on social media and in person if you go to events, and to share business tips and referrals. And the referrals, of course, are quite powerful. And if you are referring a client that you care about to some other part of the country or even anywhere in the world, and you look for some other realtor there who can provide the same kind of service you would, if you have a designation in specializing in that client's, to serve that client's needs, whatever the particular needs might be, you might look for somebody else who has the same designation. And they can be very wonderful referrals for that reason. It's a great way to find the best person to help your client, but also a great way to get business from other realtors.
And are they expensive to obtain? How long do they take?
Well, they vary, and there's usually a cost, but some of them are low cost or free. Some of the designations, like ABR, for instance, accredited by a representative, you do pay an annual membership fee to keep that designation. So it's a little more than $100 a year. In the course of doing business, that's not a great expense, but it is an expense. Many of the designations, or especially the certifications, you only pay for once. So for any of them, you pay to take the class, the course that is part of earning the designation. So you pay the registration at whatever school you take the class at, and for many of the certifications, such as SFR, for instance, short sale foreclosure resource, you only pay a one-time fee when not after you take the course and complete it. You pay a one-time fee when you register to complete that certification, and you've got it for life. You just do it once. And there are some as well, like C2EX, the commitment to excellence, supported by NAR. That is entirely free.
And that is something that you can only get through NAR.
Exactly, that is directly from NAR. It's not a special class that you take in a classroom. It's all online. It's all web-based, and you have to retake it every 2 years to stay certified. But that is entirely free. That's a member benefit.
Awesome. Okay, so as an instructor, Christina, what are some of your favorite? Which courses do you teach, and why do you like them?
All right. Well, I teach quite a few. So I teach ABR, accredited by a representative, SRES, Senior Real Estate Specialist, SFR, Short Sale Foreclosure Resource, At Home with Diversity. I think I've got them all that I teach. I have a couple others that I hold but don't teach, SRS, Seller Representative Specialist, and ePro, and C2EX. But the ones I teach, I want to say I like them better, but I teach them because they particularly interest me, and I have a more, a greater depth of knowledge in those areas of specialization, and I value them particularly. I have to say, if I had to pick one single favorite, I think it's ABR, accredited by a representative, and maybe because it's the first one I earned. But it, I think, gives it really is a course about agency. It is specific to working with buyers as opposed to sellers, but if you take a step back from it, it's teaching us to do the job as a fiduciary, which we have in Pennsylvania for any client that we represent. And many of the lessons can be applied equally to how we work with sellers, even without taking the SRS class, which is also wonderful. That's specific to sellers. But ABR, because it really is a 2-day course in our fiduciary duties and the value of agency, the value of representation that we can provide to our clients, I think that is the foundation of our value in this business, start to finish, forever. That is the most important thing that we can say we do for people. And it's a value that we have to be able to describe and demonstrate, or consumers won't find us valuable at all. And so it really, in that sense, is a kind of universal class, not just for buyers, but it helps us approach all the other classes and all the other specializations that we might think of. They really start with fiduciary duty. So I think that's my favorite.
I love that. And do any of these designations or certifications, does any of this continuing education count towards, like, if you were working towards your broker's license, or is it something that would help you get to that goal if that was something that you were working towards?
Absolutely. So all the ones that I've mentioned and more, they, here we're speaking in Pennsylvania, they've all been approved for continuing education in Pennsylvania. So you do get those hours towards your CE credit that you need to take every 2 years. So that's a benefit. And they, many of them, not all of them, but many of them count as broker courses as well as electives towards your broker's license. So, if you want to get a lot of bang for your buck for your education, you've got to pay for your education in some form or other instead of just getting the hours. You can get the hours, you can get the specialization, you can get the designation or certification, and you can get a credit towards your broker's license, which will be a benefit. And they count in multiple states as well. So if you are licensed in other states, these don't just count for education credits in Pennsylvania, but in almost every other state, Delaware, New York, New Jersey, Maryland. So you can get a lot of birds with one stone with these designations.
When would be the best time to get a certification or a designation?
I think, now, as soon as you can, whenever you have the time to invest, whenever you are filling your education requirements, I highly recommend you get more bang for your buck by doing these certification and designation courses. And I think they are particularly valuable for agents who are newer in the business to get this education sooner, maybe before you're busy, maybe you have more time in your schedule, before your business is has taken off. Getting a good foundation from the beginning and building your business stronger from the beginning, I think, is tremendously valuable. But there's no time in your career where they would be a waste. They are valuable, and it's knowledge that's even valuable outside of real estate, particularly when we talk about at home with diversity, and the senior real estate specialist courses. They help us work with all kinds of people, in our daily lives, different generations that we just, even in our own families, or even in our own communities, those classes are valuable. So they would never be it would never not be a good time.
Good. Yeah, I know there were a lot of realtors who took advantage of that downtime that we unfortunately had during COVID.
Yeah.
So I think that was a smart move for a lot of people. And I know, throughout the year, different schools, if you're, looking at different online versus in person. I know our bar, we personally, we partner with the Poly School, which I know you are also affiliated with as well. But they took a lot of advantage of, that downtime that we had during COVID. So, if fall market tends to slow down, I would think that would be a good time too. Any free time that you might have.
I always tried to do, when I have a big education goal, a big class, these day or multiple day classes, or credits towards my broker license. I always tried to do it in the fall, or those periods when I knew I might be able to set aside time, a little bit at least. It's a good idea. I think it's a great time to be taking classes.
And Triple Play is coming up. Do you know if there's going to be any certification designation classes going on at Triple Play? I think I'm going to be taking Home with Diversity.
So I'll be honest, I haven't looked at the Triple Play schedule yet, but I know they always try to do one or two certification classes, sometimes right before the kind of main event starts. So sometimes a day or so early. Actually, that is where I took SRS when it was offered at Triple Play, right ahead of the main convention. And not just Triple Play, but NAR's convention is coming up this week. We leave tomorrow for that, and they do the same thing there. They will always have designation courses available, one or two, and even some of the sort of previews of new classes like the bias override, which is not a designation or certification, but that's coming too. And
all right, well, that's all I have for now, but we will be doing some interviews here shortly with more RBAR members who hold current certifications and designations, and potentially some realtors who are thinking about taking that dive and getting their certifications and designations started. So thank you again, Christina. We really appreciate your time, and we'll look forward to seeing you here at RBAR very shortly.
Great. Well, thank you, Brittany, and thanks to everyone else. And I hope to see, well, I know I'll see you next week, at least in passing, but I hope to see many other people in your classroom there. I look forward to it.
Definitely. Sounds good. All right, Tyler. So you are on the board of directors for the Reading-Berks Association of Realtors. And I have noticed that you have a ton of letters after your name. And we're trying to do this video to show what the designations and certifications actually mean and what they do for your business and why they're important. So who better to interview than the person who has tons of letters next to his name? Thank you for joining me today. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Let's start out with an easy one. So why did you decide to get your designations and certifications?
Why not? I feel if you're going to do continuing education anyway as required, why not, have an extra benefit of, an extra designation and things like that. So Yeah,
I
that's
think,
kind of, why not?
did these kind of stand out too? You might as well, I mean, get the letters. If you're going to put in the work, you might as well get the actual accolades from it, you know?
Correct. That was kind of my thought. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we have to do the continuing ed anyway, so why not make it count? Like,
Right. I love that. Did anyone inspire you to get the designations or certifications, or did you do like a bunch of research on these yourself?
not really. I mean, I didn't really seek the ones that I have out. They just kind of came up. Two of them, like lenders sponsored, I guess you could say, you know, had the course, so it was free. So again, you know, why not? I felt like it's something that's nice to put, you know, on a resume, you know, and things like that, and it's free. So for those, so that's what my thought process was. Why not?
Sounds like a good idea. Maybe I should pitch to our affiliate members. Hey, sponsor
Just
an
not,
RBAR designation course or something like that.
yeah, for sure. I'm up for anything that's free.
All right, let's put a pin in that. What were the classes like when you took them?
I would say probably like any other continuing education kind of thing. There were some that I, you know, learned, well, I mean, of course, they're all tailored to the specific designation. So, you know, picked up some other things that was like, oh, that's really, you know, good to know and, you know, helpful in my business and to my clients.
How long were the classes in general? Some are longer, some are shorter?
Yeah, some correct. So some are like the ones that the lenders did. I think the one that I did was kind of like an all-day class that a lender had somewhere. The other one I think was maybe more of like an hour class, but then we had homework afterwards to do, and then had to like submit that, and then it was approved.
Okay. Let's see, what else do I want to ask you while I got you here? Did you decide to take them in person or did you do any online?
I think they were all online.
Okay.
Well, I mean, except for, I'm sorry, I lie. I guess I just did say, like, the one was, you know, lender did kind of like a luncheon thing. So that was hosted. So that was in person, and, you know, and then the other one was kind of in person, but it was like a video recording that we watched, and then we had the homework, but
Okay.
all the rest were all online.
Okay. Which one was the most difficult, would you say, to obtain?
I'm probably gonna say either like ePro, which is maybe kind of sad, or SRS, Sellers
Okay.
Representative Specialist.
Okay. Why would you say ePro? I've heard from other people, I mean, depending on who you talk to, and I'm sure it varies depending on, you know, your experience level, but ePro is the one that's about like marketing and like online, you know, advertising and all of that, right?
Yeah, well, and like just like I usually say, like electronic and like technology and security, and there's like a lot that goes into that.
So with some of these designations and certifications, you get like the networking aspect, and it's like an annual kind of subscription or membership, right? So have you noticed any networking benefits from any of them?
Nothing groundbreaking. A couple of them have like, you know, like a Facebook group or like an online portal kind of thing to connect with other agents that have those designations. Nothing, I don't feel like that's like a huge thing. I mean, it's a nice added perk. A couple of them, I think, like SRS and have, you know, like little portals and like have some marketing material that they can provide, which is nice. As I know, like, I think SRS had like a little short video clip kind of thing that I was able to take and like share on Facebook of kind of like the difference and what an SRS is and things like that.
Okay, very nice. How do you leverage your designations and certifications? Do you use it, you know, actively in your marketing or your branding?
Yeah, I definitely bring them up because, again, why not? So some people I think are more impressed by it than others, and some not so much. But I definitely think it helps in marketing to say that I've, you know, taken extra, you know, extra courses to further educate myself and be able to better serve my clients in these areas.
Okay. And do you have any, stories that you could share with us about anything that you learned in the class that like was actually applicable to a transaction or, a situation that you had to help navigate for a client?
I would say like the negotiation expert one was really good,
Okay.
because it just kind of talks about like mindset in a sense and thinking, and how it'll be perceived on the other side. So you know what I mean, and just kind of negotiating and stuff. So I thought that one was good. And then kind of same thing with pricing strategy advisor. There's a whole bunch of different ways to look at stuff and appraise things. We're not appraisers, but so I think it just kind of helps you kind of consider all the other factors.
Okay. Since you've obtained the certifications and designations, have you noticed that you yourself feel more confident in dealing with some of those areas?
Yeah, for sure. And it also just gives me like the confidence too with my
Right.
clients to say, I've taken extra classes or extra, courses on these, and I'm qualified to do the job.
Definitely more so than, a regular licensee would be able to say, for the most part, because from, what I've learned from the designations and certifications, they're only available to the realtors. So you have to be a realtor, not just a regular, licensee, to take these classes. So the fact that you have access to them is a huge plus.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely, sorry, I mentioned them at, with sellers, because like, there are definitely perks, like a seller's representative specialist and then negotiation expert. Like what seller wouldn't like to hear that, I feel.
Right.
And then as well as pricing advisor. So yeah.
Right. I love that. Has the extra coursework provided opportunities to mentor any of your fellow realtors? Like, do you ever have any situations where a realtor, comes to you, maybe not just because of the certifications and designations, but do you think you feel, or other agents feel, like you might be more of a resource with that extra education?
Yeah, I mean, I think it, like with furthering my knowledge, has made me more of a resource to other agents. I don't know that agents specifically made it known that they seeked me out in a sense because of those, but I think just having the knowledge, I think people will look to you a little bit more.
Okay. Is there anything you want other realtors to know about certifications and designations?
Not necessarily, but just why not? Like, why, I remember when I got into the business and was like, that's the first like continuing education I'm going to do, because why would you not? Don't get me wrong, there's other continuing education that doesn't give you a designation and is cheaper or easier. But like I said, a lot of the ones that I did were either free, provided from the lender, or I think I got like 2 or 3 to be like over COVID when we were shut down. They had like promotions and stuff. So I signed up for those. Why not?
Do you think now that we're heading into like the fall market, things might slow down a little bit? Do you think now would be another good time to get those designations and certifications?
For sure. Yeah. And just continuing education in general, rather than waiting until the last minute.
Definitely. Well, that's all of the questions that I have for you, Tyler, but we're definitely going to stay in touch. And do you have any plans to get any additional certifications or designations?
Not necessarily at the moment. I like definitely keep an eye on ones that kind of come up available. And and if it kind of fits into my schedule and that kind of thing, then yeah. But I'm not necessarily like actively seeking any other ones.
Good to know. Well, we'll keep in touch, Tyler. Thank you so much for taking the time today to meet with me and discuss these continuing education classes. So thank you. We'll keep in touch.
No problem. Thank you. Have a good one.